Hi, everybody. I woke up with so much excitement today that I just really wanted to share it with you. Some of you may already know me from my work with Awesomeism, and some of you may not know, although I wrote a book called Awesomeism, A New Way to Understand the Diagnosis of Autism. What you might not know is that for about the last 18 years, I've been kind of following a map or the dictates of one child in particular named Riley, who really started my interest in autism and in energetically sensitive children. He's the one back in 1999 that really let me know that these children were definitely not from here, and that they were souls that were coming to support the elevation of collective human consciousness. And back in 1999, as you can imagine, that was all news to me, and it really didn't set very well at the time with my kind of speech pathology background, scientific, educational background. But nevertheless, for the last 18 years, I keep going back to certain writings that Riley had given me. This child was coming to me both telepathically, and he was confirming some of the things that I learned telepathically from him in different writings. And here are some of the writings that he shared with me. And he was 4 years old, so you can see the way he was writing was that closer to a 4-year-old. But what he said had nothing to do with the cognitive age of being 4. So one of the things that he said was that there's a phrase here, it says, up here it says, getting stuck was some. And then it talks about 1995 here. So when I asked him, I said, okay, what happened in 1995? And through telepathy, he said that many of the souls that were coming in to enhance the consciousness of the planet were getting stuck. And they were getting stuck, and by getting stuck, what he meant was they were losing some of the skill sets that they needed in order to, facilitate a growth in collective human consciousness. So me as a speech language pathologist at the time was thinking, okay, what got in the way? Why are you unable to communicate? So one of the things that he said was, go back to 1995, go back and look at what happened in 1995. Because I was more medically, educationally based at the time, I went to medical records, I went to educational records in 1995. And I found that in 1995, the American Medical Association had written a letter kind of validating for themselves, maybe, why they had moved from 12 vaccines within the first 5 years of life to 36 vaccines in the first 5 years of life. So I thought that was really interesting. So I went back to Riley and I asked him, I said, is this the case? Were some of you getting stuck? Were some of you losing your language and your ability to facilitate this rise in collective human consciousness because of these vaccines? His response to me was yes. And in 1999, there was really no conversation about this correlation. Today, in 2017, we hear all kinds of reference points to that kind of information. And we've seen all kinds of people exposing different pieces of information around this. So that's interesting, and I'm telling you that because I want to make a clear association with things that he told me from the past and things that are playing out now. So, and we're talking about, close to 8 years ago. So one of the other things that he kept saying to me is he kept referring to the queen bee. And you'll see again on here on his writings, he's got the word queen here. And on the back, probably is not too legible, but I was asking him a bunch of questions about the queen. And so he kept talking to me about the queen bee. And I was, okay, I don't understand what that is. I've had any number of occasions since 1999 where I've seen license plates that say Queen Bee, or I had somebody walk up to me at an event in England and she said, I'm the Queen Bee. And so all interesting, right? But who knows what to do with that kind of information. So this morning I woke up and was on Facebook, as I do in the morning, and I saw a reference that was posted by a friend about this particular full moon, today, December 3rd, 2017. And this full moon apparently is associated with a goddess called Melissa, I guess, and I posted it on Facebook so you guys can see it there. But she's referred to as the Queen Bee. And the whole reference to this particular piece of information was all around this desire, this need that all of us who have a certain calling, you know, we all kind of need to bring that information together in order to create something beyond ourselves. And so I went back to, it shocked me actually, because I'm thinking, okay, here's the Queen Bee, here's today, December 3rd. Here is this reference point to cross-pollinating, right? To sharing our information and our gifts and our expertises, our resources. And so one of the other things that Riley had said, and I just found it this morning when I went back to these notes, was I said, well, who's the Queen Bee? You know, what is the Queen Bee? And the Queen Bee is not a who, it's a when. The Queen Bee is now. The Queen Bee is today. It's a call for all of us to really begin to kind of collaborate, to bring our resources together so that we can create things beyond what we've been able to create before, so that we can understand what our newer populations are offering us, to see it in a way that we've never seen it before. So when I went back to his writings this morning, it says, I was thinking, okay, how do people know? How do people know who to answer, who is answering this call? How do we know that we're part of this hive, so to speak? And in his writings, it says, it was in 8, in the all with the call, right? And so again, that was something that I didn't understand before, but it's innate within us. He was saying it's innate within the all with the call. So all of us that have this same calling, it's innate within us to share this information. It's innate within us to share it among those that might not have access to this information yet. It's an innate opportunity right here, right now, for us to really begin to pull our resources. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to start having conversations with all of you. I'd like to both share with you some of the other information that Riley had shared with me. One of the other pieces has to do with these centers that he kept talking about. He actually drew one at one point, talked to me about what could be in it and those kinds of things. And what I do know about the collective consciousness of the children is that this consciousness is massive. They used to say, we are the new education, we're the new science, we're the new medicine, we're the new relationship dynamic. They hold this consciousness. And each one of you is picking up different threads of this consciousness, just like I have. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to create some forums, some conversations, so that we can begin to really share what we know, and we can begin to create from what we know. So anyway, look forward to more conversations with all of you, and I'll be posting some forum dates coming up pretty soon. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are too, and I look forward to collaborating with all of you. Bye.